Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
In 1983, making $30,000 a year is equivalent to 2024 making $164,000 a year. So our parents grew up comfortably on $30,000 a year, very comfortable. And we have to make $164,000 a year just to live the same way that our parents lived in 1983. I think that stat really shows how much inflation has impacted everyone, and it makes a lot of sense now why no one can afford shit. Because making $30,000 a year in 1983 was sufficient because eggs were like 50 cents, and now it's like $9 for a can of 12. So although the price of everything in your life has gone up, car insurance, rent, groceries, wages have not. And that's a huge problem because now 90% of people are living paycheck to paycheck in the US. And that stat really puts it into perspective.
A lot of those families still survived on one income, and even though it was the latchkey kid generation, a lot of those families still had one parent in home. A lot of times it was the mother, and did just fine. Nowadays, both parents have to be working and sometimes holding down more than one job just to get by.
We have some extremely scary news right now. Elon Musk just went on stage at the Capital One Arena and did a Nazi salute to the crowd. It's only a 1-second clip because it was that fast.
No, it's only a 1-second clip because that's what he and his people need to push these lies and propaganda. This is so gross. Like, this is so low. They don't want to show you more than 1 second because they can't push their propaganda as easy. Let's actually look at more than 1 second.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get a little more context.
My heart goes out to you. It is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured.
It's very simple. We could just ask that creator, show the rest of the clip. Again, they don't want you to see the whole clip because they have a narrative to push. They need to lie and manipulate you to get you to think the way they want you to think. To compare him to something so gross, so vile, like it's just morally bankrupt. Not to mention the fact that he literally said his heart goes out to people. So he touched his chest and put it out to the people he was talking to. But even if that's the case, if you don't believe me, go Google the Nazi salute. The palm is straight down. Everything is straight. Elon's palm is not straight down. It's facing more upwards than straight down because his palm was going out to the people he's talking to. The people that are pushing this disgusting lie. Wild.
The media is relentless. They take that 1 second where he goes, "My heart goes out to you," and turned it into something that it's not. Grasping at straws.
Can someone explain to me why NBC told everyone watching that there wouldn't be a designated survivor during the inauguration? Isn't that a national security threat? Also, how do they know that?
That is a very interesting thing for them to just say on national television, especially when there were a lot of whispers about there being a security issue. Obviously, they kept saying, no, it's because it's cold, but the fact that that was said, knowing what has happened, just absolutely blows my mind.
Why do you think Joe Rogan hasn't done a podcast on, like, the Luigi Mangione conspiracy theories? No, but think about it. The dude has, like, several 3-hour podcasts that, like, deny the moon landing. He talks to people who don't believe math exists. He talks to people who think that human life was seeded by aliens. He talks about, like, JFK conspiracies all the time, but nothing about Luigi Mangione? Like, nothing about the different backpack conspiracies, like the different eyebrows, how the pictures don't match up, that whole Breloom Pokemon conspiracy thing. No conversation about how much time and energy went into the execution of the crime, yet he was just found in a McDonald's through an eyewitness report of him wearing a mask and then verified through a previously unknown facial recognition technology. Joe Rogan just seems like such a conspiracy theory guy. Like, doesn't this whole thing seem right up his friggin' alley? It's almost as if when Joe Rogan became a millionaire and started, like, regularly platforming billionaires on his podcast, that he became less interested in at least certain conspiracy theories, if you know what I mean.
I don't regularly watch Joe Rogan podcasts, but if he actually hasn't talked about the Luigi Mangione whole conspiracy theory, that is very interesting. I wonder if he's like compiling his like facts and trying to find the right person to talk to about it. Or maybe it's just like he said. Perhaps he's been bought to not, which would be absolutely absurd. The dude's got so much money. I don't think he needs to be bought. And I really don't think he's that type of guy. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by today. If you're having a good time, won't you please hit that like button? And if this is your kind of content, won't you consider subscribing? Then come on back, because we're talking about weird stuff, like a lot.
Why are all these celebrities using this black goo? So Megan Fox just dropped this picture, and we'll talk about the other celebrities in a second, but check this out. She made an announcement with this picture, and it was for her pregnancy. And this sent social media into a frenzy, because wouldn't you want the imagery to resemble the exact opposite? Now this got me thinking. I've seen this a lot recently. So on Lady Gaga's last music video, we see this black goo with a dark version of herself, throws it up onto her, and she indulges in it. Many think that this was her symbolizing that she is embracing her inner demons. Then on Justin Timberlake's last music video, he had something very similar. A literal demon is throwing up the same black goo onto him, symbolizing some type of dark possession while it's all over his face, and demons in the music video continue to surround him. And someone who uses this often is Billie Eilish. One song she drinks it and it oozes out of her eyes. On another song, I think she is representing Lucifer, and she is covered in it while she spreads her dark wings. So we can see clearly that this imagery represents some type of inner struggle, some type of possession, or any type of darkness. But why would Megan Fox use this in her pregnancy announcement?
Ever since seeing that video last week of how black goo has like a demonic history, right? I remember seeing those pictures of like movie stars and musicians and all of that stuff with all the black crap all over them. And I didn't attribute it to anything other than a passing craze. But now that I know about its demonic history, that is absolutely crazy. So I wonder what that message is supposed to be. Probably that they're demonic, right?
The black goo is a sentient life form. It has its own will to live. And if it gets into our body, it can actually wreak havoc. But it can also do things like rapidly clone. After the Lake Toba eruption, when that blew about 71,000 years ago, it created the nuclear winter, or ash, all over the world, killed crops, killed a lot of the humans that were alive at that time. It was actually benevolent ETs that brought the black goo to Earth in the event that they needed to rapidly clone humans to repopulate the planet. But they knew it was a dangerous substance, so they left it in this cave on South Tule Island, where it would always be inert. It cannot be activated in freezing conditions.
What? Did you catch that? Aliens brought this black goo in case they needed to replicate humans. Replicate humans. Okay, so there are some people that believe that aliens are actually demons, and I don't, because I don't believe in demons. I believe that aliens come from other planets to do I don't know what, but they do. That's what I think. But that makes a lot of sense. So what if these pillars that they had built in history where they were sacrificing babies to, which is absolutely disgusting, they were actually helping them like communicate with aliens? That's freaking fantastic. I mean, it's still disgusting, but it's pretty fantastic. But really quick, my Star Trek fans, this just popped into my head. Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Odo. If you know him, you know he's a shapeshifter. If you don't, he's a shapeshifter. He sleeps in a bucket because he turns into a liquid goo, and then he like joined the rest of his kind and like walked into this river and just became part of the goo. I wonder if there's some correlation there. But that's crazy. I love it.
In 2021, a Reddit user uploaded a series of images titled Scenes from Another Earth. The photos depicted familiar landmarks like the Eiffel Tower, the Golden Gate Bridge, and the Great Wall of China, but with small, unsettling differences. The Eiffel Tower had a spiral staircase wrapping around its exterior, The Golden Gate Bridge was painted black instead of red, and the Great Wall seemed to stretch into the sky like an impossible spiral. The images were remarkably realistic, not the kind of thing you'd expect from casual Photoshop. The user claimed they had found the photos on an old hard drive purchased at a flea market. In their post, they explained that the folder containing the images was labeled Earth Beta. They dismissed it as a prank until they noticed one photo showing a small town remarkably similar to the one they grew up in, but with different street names and an unfamiliar skyline. The post quickly went viral, with internet sleuths diving into the details. Metadata from the images suggested they had been created years before the user's hard drive purchase. However, some of the landmarks in the photos didn't align with modern-day geography. For example, a photo of Mount Everest showed a sprawling city built into its base. Theories began circulating online, ranging from advanced AI-generated imagery to alternate dimensions somehow captured in physical media. Then the Reddit user disappeared. Their account was deleted and the photos vanished from the thread. However, screenshots had already spread across Reddit and other platforms. Some users claimed to have identified landmarks in the images that hadn't existed before, but were now under construction. Others alleged that they had seen glimpses of these alternate locations in their dreams, or during moments of déjà vu. The mystery of the other Earth photos remains unsolved, but it has sparked an ongoing debate about the nature of reality and the possibilities of parallel worlds. Are the photos evidence of another Earth, a sophisticated hoax, or something more sinister? For now, they serve as a reminder that the line between fiction and reality is thinner than we might think.
I've never seen these images before. I was kind of hoping that they were going to show us some of them, so I do apologize for that. But I don't think it's real. Now, I don't think that there's no such thing as like alternate universes and parallel universes and all of that stuff. I think it's very well possible, but I've heard so many stories that start off like that. And they, it's just a common starting point is, oh, I bought this at a thrift store and then look what it's got on it. It's kind of like a it's been done starting, but if anybody knows where I can find some of those images, let me know. I'd love to see them.
Just because they won't let us sail below the 60th parallel doesn't mean the Earth is flat.
Yeah, what about the accounts from the men who actually did?
What are you talking about?
William Morris, late 1700s, traversed along the Antarctic Circle until he found it.
Found what?
Summer's Gate, every Glober's worst nightmare, one of the 3 exits along the ice wall. Said the crew was too scared to go through it, but by the time they tried pulling out, it was already too late. Current yanked them through the opening into the other side, beyond the ice wall.
My God.
Sailed through these unknown waters until
what?
They were approached by a massive red ship, unlike anything they'd ever seen back home, and it started blaring an unbearable horn until they finally realized William and his crew were no harm. They brought them up on board, and the captain of this giant red ship introduced himself to William as the leader of the ancestral lands, said his name was Tolliver. Yawning, William was in shock at this point, like trying to take in the fact that there was like this whole reality outside of this ice wall barrier. And Tolliver asked him what he was doing in these waters. William kind of apologetically said, I'm sorry.
As a globe propagandist, I obviously don't believe that the world is flat. But I do believe that there's got to be something in Antarctica that is being hidden from us, whether it's like an entry into like Middle Earth, because I don't not believe that there is some Middle Earth thing going on, or something else, other like land that has other people there that for some reason the rest of the world is protecting for why I don't know. But that's kind of where my mind lays there.
So I'm freaked out. So I always thought that the gifted program in school was for kids who were like super good at math, right? Come to find out, we're finding out collectively now that it was a government-funded program where they scouted kids who had supernatural abilities, like clairvoyant tendencies. And I fell down this TikTok rabbit hole because all of these kids that were in the gifted program are suddenly just like regaining their memory. Like they lost the memory that they had when they were in this program, and all of a sudden all of them are just like waking up at the same time. Like, they would give these kids this, like, weird color drink, and if the kids asked why, they wouldn't explain it. If they asked too many questions, they were kicked from the program. They gave them, like, this chalky tablet. They put them in a room with, like, different laser lights and made them, like, connect the dots. They gave them telepathy tests. They would check their eyes for heterochromia, because that's, I guess, like, a sign of, like, supernatural abilities. And so many of the kids that made it through the program, like, the whole way from, like, kindergarten onward, or, like, from high school onward, were scouted by the military for, like, special ops, like secret intelligence operations. But so many of these kids that went through this program lost the memory of everything that happened completely, and then just, like, woke up. And they would sit them in a room with, like, headphones, not like the hearing test ones, right? But it would be like, this, like, don't be afraid. Like, you're in the gateway to a new way of living. When I tell you that when I fell down this rabbit hole, it almost sent me into a psychosis. I was one TikTok away from the lamp looking funny. And it's so weird that all of these people are remembering now of all times. Like, now with all of these alien sightings, all this weird stuff going on, they're just, like, remembering. If you were in the program, please comment, because, I'm free. Like I said, the lamp's looking funny. The lamp's looking a little funny.
So we've talked about the gifted program before, and I was in the gifted program. It's a GATE, Gifted and Talented Education. And yeah, we were in advanced courses throughout the year, but once a month we would be invited to an off-site location where we had like a handful of choices of extra courses that we could take. And I guess I took the wrong ones because I never got any fun, weird colored drink or chalky tablets. I just got a little bit of higher education. But there were multiple choices, and I'm assuming that perhaps if you chose specific ones, they selected you for one reason or another because that was the advancement that you were seeking. And I guess I chose poorly.
This situation was scary, but it was resolved safely. However, the US did not forget, hence them coming up with Operation Northwoods. The plan suggested that the government would carry out a series of fake terrorist attacks on the American military and civilians, to then blame Cuba for these attacks and then justify going to war. Some of these crazy actions that they planned on doing to their own people was hijacking planes, sinking boats, and even bombing US cities, all done intentionally to point the blame at Cuba. But this wasn't just a get back for the Cuban Missile Crisis. This plan was part of a larger effort to oppose Fidel Castro's communist government, which was aligned directly with the Soviet Union, the USA's enemy at the time. And with the Soviet Union having an ally so close to US soil, the US was feeling the heat. Although, would that have justified any of these actions? I don't believe so. That being said, fortunately, none of these actually happened. Although it's not because the government had a change of heart and realized this was awful. President John F. Kennedy simply rejected the plan because he thought that this would cause a large-scale war against Russia, which he deemed to be too risky. Regardless though, none of these horrible attacks injured any innocent people, which is great. And nobody even knew about it until 1997, when the documents were declassified and made public. So yeah, although the government didn't sacrifice its own people in the name of war, they definitely heavily considered it, which is definitely concerning.
And they wonder why, when they're running off to war, so many people think there's a false flag here. There's something that our government has done to make the people feel like we need to go to war because they've done it. It's almost as if everything has been orchestrated. We're believing what they want us to believe.
Let's start with one that seems so obvious that it would almost be more surprising if it weren't true. And that's the theory that the government is watching your every move. It's hardly an overstatement to say that in our modern technology-driven world, you're never more than a few feet from a camera, whether it's part of a closed-circuit system or even those that are found near roads designed to catch speeding drivers. But think about how many other places you'd find a camera. Your smartphone's got multiple, and your laptop or PC will likely have a webcam, just to name a few. What's stopping the government from using these devices to spy on you? Well, nothing, actually. In fact, it's completely legal for them to do so. Mass surveillance is hardly a new innovation, as dystopian as the concept might feel. In the United States alone, there exist multiple federal law enforcement and intelligence agencies that serve the function of conducting surveillance over the population, like the National Security Agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Central Intelligence Agency. While this is often done in the name of security to protect the public from the threat of acts of terrorism, surveillance on this scale is also a tool used to silence political dissent.
Oh, we know that for sure. I mean, there was even a congressional hearing about how people were being spied on just because, not because of any terrorism, anything like that, but just because they could and they wanted to. And it's happening even more and more. I mean, hell, how much money did the military just get in that last stopgap bill? Remember to check people's phones if they're at an airport and there's a drone flying around? Yeah, that's not what's happening. That was a green light. Go ahead. Yeah, you want to spy on the people? Yeah, why not? Because they're already doing it all the time anyway.
There's a new theory about the mysterious drones over New Jersey, and it's straight out of science fiction. Some speculate these drones aren't controlled by humans, but by sentient AI. The theory is that an advanced AI system has gained autonomy, and even the government can't figure out how to respond. These drones display eerie behavior. They move silently, evade detection, and disappear when spotted. Are they rogue AI testing their limits? Or could this be the next stage of technological evolution, one we're not ready for?
I had not heard this theory. I've heard a lot of theories about them being from a foreign adversary, about them being just hobbyists, about them being airplanes and people are dumb and they're like, oh, it's a drone, even though it's not, and that they were looking for nuclear weapons, all kinds of stuff. But to be like sentient AI controlled, and that's why the government's like, we don't know what they are. We have no clue. No, we don't know, but they can't control them for one reason or another. That's terrifying. Hey, Susie, where's our update?
Yo, the glitter conspiracy is a rabbit hole you are not ready for. So I didn't know this, but there's legit only like 2 main manufacturers of glitter in the world, both of which are based in New Jersey, of all places. And yes, I'm talking like regular glitter, the same stuff you use in arts and crafts. One of these companies is like super secret and private, that apparently invented glitter themselves and is very hush-hush about everything. And the other is GlitterX. No one really thought much of it until it came out that we actually have a worldwide shortage of glitter back in 2018. Kind of a weird thing to be short of. So a journalist from the New York Times went in to interview the team at GlitterX to find out. She casually asked if she could tour the factory, and surprisingly, GlitterX told her absolutely not. Like, there was no debate about it. She was strictly not allowed to see how glitter was made, and wasn't even allowed to be in a nearby room to even hear how it's made. So instead, she was just left to interview a manager at the company, and things just kept getting sketchier. She asks the manager if she could tell her what industry serves as her biggest market, and the GlitterX rep instantly, without hesitation, tells her, no, I absolutely cannot tell you. Confused, the journalist asks her if she knows who their biggest customer is, and she replies with, oh god, yes, and you would never guess it. Let's just leave it at that. Asking why she can't talk about it, she responds by saying because they don't want anyone to know that it is glitter, and that if you looked at it, you wouldn't even know that it's glitter. The journalist then asks if you'd even be able to see the glitter at all in the finished product, to which the manager replies, oh, you'd be able to see something, but it's, yeah, I can't. And this interview single-handedly sparked the great glitter rabbit hole of the internet. Apparently, these clients that purchase glitter are all under a very strict confidentiality clause with GlitterX. They really do not want people to know that their products are made from the sparkly stuff. The industry these products are part of is clearly massive, yet no one knows what it is. So what even is glitter? By definition, it is aluminum metallized polyethylene terephthalate, essentially plastic that has been aluminized and shredded into tiny specks that sparkle. And it's used in a lot of things, from credit cards, passports, currency, football helmets, cosmetics, jet skis, granite countertops, even toothpaste, allegedly. But none of these are quite big enough to be this top industry buyer of glitter. One of the leading theories is that this biggest glitter industry is for boat paint, which many manufacturers do admit they use it in their boats. And they don't want people to know about it because of how much microplastics in the glitter these boats are really dumping into the ocean, which is a hot topic these days and is why they'd want to keep it such a secret. Others claim that it's being dumped into beaches to make the sand sparkle, or that it's just Crest toothpaste and we're rubbing the microplastics directly into our gums, as well as for use in military applications, which would obviously be highly classified, and this is where the theory takes an unexpected turn. Remember that super secret company that basically founded glitter, the other New Jersey company that isn't GlitterX? Turns out they're actually not as big of a secret as they'd like to be, called Meadowbrook Inventions, which was founded by Henry F. Rushman, a German-American machinist who invented modern glitter in the 1930s, and also happened to be part of the Manhattan Project, the highly classified operation that created the atom bomb. So the guy who invented glitter also helped create the world's first nuclear weapon. Who would have known? Meadowbrook's machines that make glitter are also commonly used for government contracts for products like rocket fuel, airplane brake shoes, and anti-radar chaff, which are chopped up fibers they shoot out of military planes that can block radar, redirect heat-seeking missiles, and can even be used to simulate poor weather conditions on radar. Good thing the government would never do that. Henry W. Rushman, the son of the original creator, was interviewed and even admitted to what they were really using glitter for all these years, specifically mentioning money, passports, toothpaste, and all those military applications like that anti-radar chaff, and even mentioned it was used in special batteries they produced for a military contractor called Picatinny Arsenal. Batteries that he claimed produce more electricity than any other battery we've ever known, and was pretty quiet about it after that. If there's anything we've learned about the government, it's that they love spending money, and their budget is essentially endless, especially if it's for the military. And given all these military uses of glitter, as well as its founder's roots in the Manhattan Projects and connection to atomic bombs, this one might be our answer. What other industry could be so secret that the New York Times article described it as CIA levels of obfuscation? How about the CIA itself? Perhaps once again the government is behind it all, using the same sparkly powder found in children's art projects for military applications, fighter jets, rocket fuel, money, and passports. Possibly even some new high-tech super battery they don't want the rest of us to know about. What a plot twist that would be if glitter of all things ends up being the government's top secret weapon to control the masses.
I wonder if DARPA's got their hand in some glitter projects. Sounds like something they would do, especially if it's being used in all these military applications. Like I said, the radar jamming, right? What if it's radar jamming? And that's what glitter does? Or what if it's smart dust? What if there's smart dust in it and they're like tracking stuff? They're putting it in specific, they're putting it in specific like stuff that goes to specific places and they cover it in their specific vehicles or vessels or machinery or whatever, and then they're like tracking them. Okay, DARPA's definitely got their hand in the glitter business.
For decades, whispers of extraterrestrial presence have echoed through the halls of power. What if I told you that aliens are not just a figment of our imagination? Reports suggest that they have been here all along, working alongside governments to share advanced technology and knowledge. Imagine a world where UFO sightings aren't just random occurrences, but rather glimpses into collaborative missions between humans and visitors from another planet. From reverse-engineered spacecraft to revolutionary medical advancements, these interactions have allegedly accelerated our technological progress exponentially. Some claim that top-secret government facilities house alien artifacts and devices designed for interstellar travel, which researchers are studying under strict confidentiality agreements. This alliance could explain incredible leaps in computer technology and renewable energy solutions emerging seemingly overnight. Furthermore, leaked documents hint at ongoing projects where government scientists collaborate with alien beings on sustainable technologies aimed at combating climate change, something humanity has struggled with for years. As we delve deeper into the realm of conspiracy theories versus reality, one question looms large. Are we ready to accept help from those who come from beyond our stars? The answer may lie within classified reports still hidden from public view, or perhaps in the quiet innovations making their way into everyday life without us knowing their true origin.
Didn't the government already tell us that there has been an alien technology recovery program and that we have alien technology? So yeah, I pretty much believe that. That is definitely possible. And that's why DARPA's like decades ahead of anything that we have that's publicly available, because they've got this frickin' alien technology and they're like disseminating it and turning it into crap to amuse the masses. Amongst other things, of course.
We've got some new information here in terms of these mystery drones. They're back, and they are tracking them on an interactive map that you can see on the right here where all the pins are. And you can see a majority of these sightings have happened in the eastern part of the United States, the northeast of the U.S. Now, Trump has said and made a promise that he would tell us what was going on with the drones. Not a word of it yet. Everyone's sitting here patiently waiting, knowing that he got briefed and that he knows what's going on with these drones. The regime refused to tell everybody what was going on. We know the drones have FAA lights on them. They're not another being, so to speak, and not even an adversary, because they wouldn't do this. Most military drones are flown stealth and in the dark anyway, like Predator drones, and you would never see or hear them coming. These things wanted to be seen, and they're back. They're popping up even after they'd put these no-fly zones in effect for the region. That did make the sightings drop 43%, but the new data shows that sightings are rolling in ever since the 1st of this year, and that a majority of them, again, are over the New Jersey area. And people are witnessing this and getting videos. Now, we also have the release of the location of all the black sites that Stephen Greer had been talking about. Trust him or not, he's been dropping breadcrumbs of information pertaining to disclosure and what I call soft disclosure, where they started off with this egg and all this other stuff. And they're saying that it is all emanating from these illegal black sites that are out there around the globe. And on the left here, you can see an image that has a lot of those locations pinned. I'll leave a link below that gives information to each of these locations and what they have on these black sites at each location. If you have anything to add to it, drop it in the comments.
Susie, where's that update, honey? We're waiting on it. He said Stephen Greer. Didn't we see something like earlier in January where he said that there was going to be some big revelation? Where's that? I'd like to see that happen. Still waiting, I guess. But he did say it would be in January, and we still got a few more days, so I'll be patient. On that note, I'm calling it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back in a couple of days. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.